Okay, UE, this is a very short presentation on the presentation I made that is the same as your homework. So this is Slide Rocket. It's a new tool we have this year. I really like this tool a lot, and I hope you will as well. It works in many ways a lot like PowerPoint, but it has, I think, some better features, and it has the ability to collaborate. And it also has what I would call a nicer templates and font features to make a nicer to make a presentation that's better designed. So this is my first slide. I'd encourage you to try to find a picture of your city and use it really large. Most of yours have beautiful cities that would have gorgeous pictures. I found this picture by going into Flickr, and I was able to click on it. Let's say I wanted to have this one. I just put the name of the city up there. Double click it, it comes in. And if I wanted to use this one, I could have extended it out, right? I could have brought it up here, and I could have brought this out. And it's okay if it goes over, right? You can then reposition it to fit over it. But I'm not going to use that one because I have the one of the Parthenon that I chose that I like a lot. When I brought this in, however, it looked like this, and that's because it was in front of the text. So what you'd want to do is to send it to the back if that happens. Also be careful that if the theme you choose has either light or dark text as its default, that you change this. I had to make it darker because it was too much similar. The default color was a gray. It was very similar to the rock that was there. Then you have, these are based on the template you choose. It will usually come in with a standard font for the body of the text as well as for the headlines of the text. Now, I kept the headlines. I thought it was great for Athens, for something that's Greece, but I changed this font, and I'm going to show you what the old font looks like. I'm going to go back. I've been changing these fonts around. So it came in a script, and it was called Calligraffiti. But this font is very difficult to read. So what I've done is I've changed it into a font that's more readable. And you do want to pay attention to that because the point is you're trying to teach your other classmates. So you want them to be able to read the information easily. Here is the geographical features with the two hilltops in Athens. Please note that there's a citation for this photograph, and you'll see them on pretty much all the photographs. I think I missed one. I'm going to show you how to do that in a different picture. This one has the climate. For this, since it wasn't clear exactly why I would have had this picture, I put a caption, and the caption can be made small. You'll just go up here and do a text, right? You can just make a text box, and then you can type in. But you'll notice, if I type in this, Mount Parnithia, that it comes in what was that standard font, Calligraffiti, and I wouldn't want that, so I come over here, and this happens to be Calibri, and I could make it I don't have to make it as large. Oh, that's a little small. About 20 might be right. Okay, so I'll get rid of that one because you already have one. And here's my caption. There we go. So on this slide, I chose a font that is very difficult to read. This is the standard gray that it comes in as, which also makes it hard to read. And the font is very small. And this is something you do not want to have to do. So if you were going to come in here, again, I would suggest go back to this one. And then, but this is still too small. It's too hard to read, despite the fact that it's a readable font. So I would go up. Maybe this is, oh, that looks like it's too big, doesn't it? So I could go smaller than that. Maybe I need to go to this. And also, if you remember right, it was pretty hard to read. So I've been making it a darker gray than what came in as standard. You have flexibility in that, but the point is there needs to be enough contrast. The point needs to be large enough, the point size of the fonts, large enough that you can read it, and there needs to be enough contrast that we can see what's being said. So with the pollution, I'm going to show you, here is the the hyperlink, I have here that hyperlink, and I'm going to show you how to make that. So if I make a text box, and I put that in, now look at it, comes in that calligraffiti by standard. Let's go back to Cambria. With your citations, you can go up to a 10 point. It doesn't matter if we really can read it. And you would go to Tools, Hyperlink. And then you would say Open URL and hit OK. Leave the Open a New Window checked. Okay? And if you have a map and you're not doing any text on it, make it large. You can tuck in your citation very small at the bottom. Here is a current map of Athens, a terrain. You can see how it's surrounded by mountains. And I took this as a screenshot in Google Maps using the terrain feature. So it gives a nice map. So feel you can do that if you don't find the map you like. I'm going to come back to the Google Earth tour when I'm done here. And very important, your sources. I will provide these to you so that you can model what to do if you have any questions, but I need you to follow the MLA format that you were taught in English and do your best paying attention to that format so that you cite your sources correctly. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. There's pretty much pictures and text are what you're going to need most. You can ignore most of the rest. And over here, you've got the various pieces that you can do. You can change your themes if you needed to over time. Okay, but I actually like my theme, so. Okay, thank you. This is Google Earth, which is a fantastic tool, and especially in this project where you're looking at cities, it's a great place. You can create a little video of it. I've used Athens for this project, and so you got a little tour of Athens, Greece. So this is Google Earth, and I'm concentrating right now on the Parthenon. And you can see that I've been able to click on photographs from different angles of the Parthenon to get a good view of what it looks like on the ground. You can also choose to go to Street View, which I've done a couple of times. I have to say sometimes the processing speed doesn't always work perfectly. And I probably liked a lot just seeing the photographs. You can see on the left bar, we'll pick different sections. And you can add, when I made the movie, what I did is I built up places. I put pins on different places, and then I asked it to fly in a certain order, and that's how I made the movie that you just saw. The first site is the Parthenon, located on the Acropolis mountain. It's a temple dedicated to the goddess Athena. It was constructed in 447 BCE, and it's the most important surviving building in classical Greece. This is the Odeon of Herodotus Atticus. It's a theater on the south slope of the Parthenon, built in 181 CE and still in use today. The Arch of Hadrian is a monumental gateway built in 131 AD to honor the Roman Emperor Hadrian. Mount Lycabettus is a limestone hill that is the highest point in Athens and shows a good view. The National Archaeological Museum is considered one of the great museums of the world, with a huge collection of artifacts from Greek antiquity. And finally, the site of the 2004 Summer Olympics. It was the first Olympics held in Greece since 1896.